Hey, don't act like you didn't see this coming. I mean, me doing Christmas reviews and not running into this eventually is like going into a bakery and not expecting to find bread or those little swirly buns with icing on top. And frankly, this year it was a choice between this and the oh-so-beloved Steve Martin movie, Mixed Nuts. Yeah. That movie nut here with a review for It's a Wonderful Life, the 1946 holiday classic starring James Stewart, Donna, Reid, Henry Travers, Lionel, Barrymore, and Thomas Mitchell. The story follows the life of George Bailey, a man in the town of Bedford Falls who dreams of bigger aspirations over his lifetime, desiring to become a renowned architect, but instead ends up leading the local Buildings and Loan Society, assisting the less fortunate in the community. One night, however, things go horribly wrong as his associate and uncle ends up losing the firm's money. Completely broken, Bailey attempts to take his own life, but an angel, Clarence, intervenes to show him the difference he has made to the many lives in the town and what the world would be like if he had never been born. The performances, in all frankness, are pretty rock solid, with Stewart giving one of his all-time great showings. He gives Bailey the needed charisma and charm that a man of such enterprising business would have, but you buy that he has this big heart for those around him, and you do really feel for and believe him when his world starts crumbling around him. Donna Reid doesn't get as much to do, but she also delivers, providing the rock in Bailey's life, and the two do have a very natural and strong chemistry where you buy them as a couple, and that she would stick by him no matter what. Henry Travers as the angel Clarence, alongside Thomas Mitchell as Bailey's uncle, provide a lot of the lighter moments in the film and are both great, with Travers combining an age-old wisdom with a wide-eyed, almost childlike naivete and curiosity, while Mitchell exudes a warmth and chumminess befitting a slightly goofball uncle that I'm pretty sure we've all known. Barrymore as the Scroogian tycoon and banker Potter, the antagonist of this story, seems to be having quite a bit of fun in the role, giving it this spiteful nastiness and bitterness, almost relentlessly, that counterbalances the idealism and energy of someone like Stewart's Bailey. And the remainder of the cast playing the various town folk that Stewart assists over his life are all terrific, each embodying a familiar archetype of small-town America, and someone we've all probably come across, whether it be the stalwart but kind cop, the humble pharmacist, or even the optimistic family that has big dreams. Despite it being the norm at the time, the black and white of the film, in retrospect, adds a tremendous amount of atmosphere, especially during the alternate life sequences, where the town takes on a sickened, almost maddened look, and both people and buildings alike seem harsher and more hostile. Plus, it helps mask the sets and fake streets on backlots very nicely, and frankly, I completely believed in the town's existence. And musically, composer Dmitri Tiomkin provides the needed pizzazz with a very touching and simple score, but Capra uses it very sparingly and more as punctuation during the major scenes just to give it that extra bit of kick and never letting it go into sappy overdrive. And now we arrive at the script, which is where a lot of other holiday and festive films tend to lose their way, becoming drenched in so much sap and melodrama that it just rings hollow and false. Not the case here, however, even though at a glance it would seem to conform to the tropes of many a lesser movie. You got the cutesy kids, the divine intervention in the form of a somewhat bumbling and goofy figure, you've got a romance between two unlikelies, a greedy Scrooge-like antagonist, whose sole goal, frankly, is just making lots and lots of money, and even a character who loses his faith in just about everything and has to be redeemed. But what Capra and the writers do to counterbalance this actually is pretty simple. They add humanity. No one in this film is a perfect, untouchable saint. They are people, and they make mistakes and can have bad judgment at times. Even our lead, who does feel at times resentment, anger, and jealousy at those who got to live out their dreams while he was stuck in the town helping out the locals. He has a good heart, But he's human, and he feels that natural sense of bitterness at not having his own life ambitions fulfilled in quite the way he wants to. Even Putter, who may be the most two-dimensional of the lot, at least has a motivation for his mindset, and in real life there are sadly individuals whose sole goal is to make as much money as possible and damn the consequences of that. Because Capra anchors the story and characters with a proper weight, this doesn't stick out as much as it could, and it flows surprisingly smoothly. And when you mix that in with a sort of inverted take on Christmas Carol, dealing with not just finding the holiday spirit, but indeed that sense of self-worth that, truth be told, we do not always feel nor see in our day-to-day lives, you have a film that has really stood the test of the ages, and feels as moving and important today as it was back then. Very often in our lives, especially today, we feel pushed to try and aim for bigger and bigger things, mainly because of our obsession with celebrity culture. And a film like this has to be around in order to remind us that sometimes the greatest things we can do may appear small at first, but they can grow over time. We may not have the millions of a big celebrity singer or architect or designer, but we have a wealth that goes beyond that. We have a wealth that is the love that we have imparted on others, and in turn they impart back on us, as Bailey discovers in the end. And indeed, when we go through the alternate life parts, which are actually pretty tense and actually frightening after all these years, you do really get to understand, just as Bailey does, how much one person can impact other people's lives, and how, perhaps, sometimes bigger is not always better. And well, what else can I give a film like this but a gold star? It's a Wonderful Life is frankly a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful film, and I really can't say enough about it. If you're one of the few who has never seen this, check it out right now. There's probably a TV channel somewhere that's running it constantly. Maybe Netflix is doing a special offer on it. Just go and see it, because this is just such a heartwarming, touching film, but it also shows how not to make something overbearing, sappy, and cheesy. And frankly, it's no wonder that Stewart and Capra have such tremendous legacies because of films like this. And well, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, God bless, God save, and good night to all.